Hello, everybody.
How you doing, Senator?
I'm doing well. Yeah, I'm doing good.
Right here.
Oh.
I'll let you guys jump in.
So,
Right,
can
so-
I get your reaction to the man in Florida who was charged with threatening you and some other of your congressional candidates, and in the messages they were racist and
I
anti-Muslim?
wasn't even aware of this.
No?
No,
There was
not
a
aware
man
of it.
charged in South Florida today, and he threatened you. He threatened Congresswoman Omar, Swalwell, and Talib, and it was a lot of anti-Muslim, really racist rhetoric that is supposedly in his messages, according to the authorities on
We
that.
have to take hate seriously in this country. We see these hate crimes on a rise. Tragically, since 9/11, the majority of our terrorist attacks have been right-wing extremist groups. The majority of them have been white supremacist groups. This is a time that we need to take these kind of things seriously, and frankly, my concerns are not about myself in particular. My concerns are about every American, from synagogues to churches to, we saw in Florida, to a LGBTQ bar. We have to start being a country that's investing more in making sure that we reject hate, and for those hate groups that are out there, that we're doing more to investigate them.
Senator,
If you're elected, would you instruct your Attorney General to reopen the Trump investigations?
I don't think you're talking about January 2021. We have a lot of investigations that are going on right now. That Mueller report indicated that numerous suspicions of criminal activity were passed on that were outside of the scope of this one report, were passed on to other bodies. So I think everybody from California's investigations to the Southern District of New York, there's a lot of investigations going to go on over this coming year plus before I become the next president of the United States.
Senator, the question on housing affordability in regards to this being an issue here in my neck of the woods here in Northern Nevada. I know you come from a big city, namely Newark, and having to deal with that firsthand and trying to resolve zoning issues and whatnot, and whatnot. If someone were to ask you, as a potential candidate, how would I pay the rent under your plan or considerations? How would I do? Oh, what would your plan? What's your answer? What would your answer
Well,
be?
you're asking a guy whose whole career, from the very start, I was working on housing issues. This is the area I know. As a mayor, I doubled the production of affordable housing and brought considerably more, expanding the pipeline in our communities. And so I have a lot of things very specifically to address housing issues in my platform. But more than that, as a senator, I've been pushing a lot of issues. So first and foremost, something I'm going to talk about in there is the RISE credit, which puts up to $8,000 back into the pockets of working family members, raising the salaries of about half of all working Americans, about 154 million of working Americans. In addition to that, my home bill, my housing bill, deals with two things. One is affordability for families, and two, with supply. And we do that through creating incentives to get rid of exclusionary zonings, a lot of things to prevent affordable housing from being built. And number two is give people an additional tax credit to make up between what they can pay in the area median rents.
What do you think about coming to Northern Nevada, and why was it important for you to go out and visit some of the rural areas?
Well, folks need to know I come to Nevada all the time because my mom lives here in Nevada. My aunts, uncles, my grandparents live here. This is a state that I've gotten to know very well. But to be frank, I know the Vegas area far more than I know the rest of the state. And I'm campaigning for the support of all Nevadans. And that means doing like I've done in other states, where I start in South Carolina or Iowa, I start in the areas that are less traveled. And so here on my second trip to Nevada as a presidential candidate, I wanted to get into the more rural areas of the state because their issues and their pain points are not unlike those pain points and concerns that many folks have. And so from rural infrastructure to public education to affordable health care, these are things I want to come out and meet the people, try to earn their respect with my ideas, plans, and purpose.
How
Senator-
does a
Senator-
big city mayor play in rural areas like you were just in?
Well, I'm not just a big city mayor. I ran New Jersey's largest city through an economic crisis, but it was a city that was always underestimated, a city that was talked down to, a city that was often left behind. That is something I think a lot of rural areas, they feel a kinship with that, have that same chip on the shoulders that we have, that defiant sense of purpose, that our communities matter too, that our communities should be paid attention to also. Our communities have incredible potential as well. So I've been really affirming that connection that exists between Americans, where we have a lot of common pain and we need to get back to a sense of common purpose. And so I'm going to be the guy that is President of the United States, has already shown what I can do in communities that are overlooked, left aside, and often left behind. We create a real transformation there, and a lot of the ideas that I have for rural areas, we'll put them in and make sure that they understand that for me as president, they'll be at the center of my focus as well.
Senator, your fellow-
One more question, we have one more question.
Your fellow candidate, Elizabeth Warren, just called for the House to start impeachment proceedings for President Trump. Do you agree with her, and why not?
You know, I
Or
don't
why
think this is the right question right now. Right now, Congress needs the resources to do its job of oversight and accountability. We do not have an unredacted version of the report. We don't have the underlying materials that report was written upon, and we haven't had yet the opportunity to have hearings where we interview Mueller. There's a lot more work to be done, a lot more investigation that should go on before Congress comes to any conclusions like that.
You didn't mention the Green New Deal earlier when you were asked about climate change policy. Is that something you're still on board with?
Again, I support the Green New Deal. It's a resolution. There's a lot of incredible ideas in it. We should have bold visions for the future. I want people to know specifically what kind of things that I believe we can get done in my early days, and those are the things I talked about.
All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
I love
Good to
that
see you again.
question. Good
Thank
to
you.
see you too.
Make it time.
Hi, Dawn, Vanessa.
Vanessa, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Likewise,
Thank
likewise.
you for coming.
Hey, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for sitting
Yeah, of course.
You got here fast.